It's Tigs Tonight.
What is up, Tigs, Wigs? Welcome to another live edition of Tigs Tonight. We've got a jam-packed show for you all. The NFL draft is happening tonight. And like, I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but we're definitely going to touch on a little bit about what the experts are saying. And I'm not one of them. I'm not an expert. We're also going to do a little show and tell. Yeah, I recently dug up some vintage Polaroid cameras from, like, I'd say the 60s and 70s for sure. During a little trip. My little trip last week during spring break to North Louisiana. They're too cool to not show and share with y'all, so got to show that. So got a little show and tell. Have some shout-outs coming some ways, including a heroic act by Jay from NOLA and a super encouraging email from Bryce, both with the Bubba Army, of course. Plus, I got a call from Carter Bryant. If y'all don't know him, Carter the Power, look him up on YouTube after you're done watching this, of course. He breaks down all kinds of football, SEC football, LSU football, Razorbacks. He does all kinds of stuff. Dude works his butt off. I'm going to talk about that call a little bit. It kind of lit a fire under me, which is fun. We'll touch up on some upcoming events like Jazz Fest, LSU baseball this weekend. The Cajun Tiger tailgate's going to be out in full force, so grab a drink, settle in. Let's get this show freaking rolling. Let's see who we've got in here with us tonight. I mean, I feel rusty, but I'm not. We did a show last night. JR and I did a show. It's great. It's a great show. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Oh, Big E, what's up? Big E says, good evening, everyone. Hit that thumbs up. Please do. Give it a thumbs up. Share it. All that stuff. Brian Gilson, what is going on, brother Brian? Good to see you as always, my man. Oh, yeah. Everyone loves Tigs Bits. Stacy G. Stacey, I still haven't. I've got so much cooking content stuff that I haven't done that I've said I'm going to do that isn't happening, and I've got busy and all of that. Just the stuff that freaking happens in life. But I completely want to do that Jewish brisket, and I'm going to do that Jewish brisket. I totally am. Paul Rogers, what is up, brother? Paul, so good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Terry Wayne. You know we ain't doing this show tonight without Terry Wayne Foster. What's up? What is up? Terry Wayne stopped by the house. I wasn't there. I was fishing, and I talk a lot. Not going to lie. Talk a lot about fishing and our little trip to North Louisiana that will be on the Bubba exclusive. Drop on our podcast and all that stuff next week as well. You can listen to it on Patreon. I'm going to get to that plug here in a minute. And we've got Shane and Renee Wallace in here. Says, sup, what is happening? Well, we've got the NFL draft going on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That is totally what's happening. And I'm not going to lie. It kind of just snuck up on me, man. I don't know when I thought it was or what was happening or anything like that, but the NFL draft has started. I believe it started. It should have started. I've been getting ready for this show, but we'll see who goes number one. I don't think that's going to be any kind of a big shocker. We'll just real quick. We'll hit the top 5 projected draft picks. Y'all can tell me in the chat as this is going on, if this is happening live as we're going on. Widespread Panic is also playing right now, too. They're playing live in Nashville. That's a whole nother story. Anyhow, the Tennessee Titans are expected, and I think it was minus 20,000. You can actually bet on who gets drafted and in what position, which is a wild thing. But Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami, strong arm, mobile, great year. He's going to be the first overall pick with the Tennessee Titans, it looks like. Then the Cleveland Browns will be on the clock. It looks like they're probably going to get Travis Hunter. I mean, what a phenomenal football player Travis Hunter was in college. He's so athletic. He's so fast. Just he likes to fish. I like him. The New York Giants are expected to get Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from the Penn State Nittany Lions. I hearing rumors, rumblings that, hey, maybe they trade up to get a quarterback instead of, going with defense. I think that's who they got, a defensive player last year. The Patriots, and I think you can pretty much bank on this from their history over the years. Will Campbell, LSU's Will Campbell, offensive tackle, 5-star, my friend Gil says was overrated, but he's going to go fourth in the NFL draft. I don't think he's that overrated. Completely dominant offensive tackle, and he's probably going to go to the Patriots, which a lot of LSU players have gone to the Patriots and have done well there. They kind of like to, you see some teams that like to dip into other certain schools that just seem, those players seem to work out for them. That seems to have been the case a lot of times for the Patriots. Kevin Falk, my all-time favorite LSU football player, being a prime example, and several others as well. They just seem to know how to make it work. And then the Chicago Bears are expected to get Ashton Genty from Boise State. That he's a dynamic, that running back. So running backs don't seem to be as important in this game anymore. They've become more hybrids, kind of like I'm drawing a blank, kind of like my boy in New Orleans. Why can't I think of his freaking name? You know who I'm talking about. Just totally drawing a blank. But anyhow, there come more hybrids like that, and I think that it's interesting. The Bears definitely need a running back. They need a versatile running back at that. So, it'll be interesting to see if that happens. What do y'all care about the draft at all? Who's your teams out there? Over the line. Heard your call in on Bubba. Was that yesterday? Was it this morning? It's all running together. Great job, man. Great job on the shows, too, brother. They are so freaking good. They're so freaking good. The Bears need O-line, but as a Bears fan, okay, Big E's a Bears fan. I forgot that. All right, and Will Campbell did just go to the Pats. There you go. So I knew you could mark that one down. He, obviously, wearing my Drew Brees jersey, I'm still living in the past. Saints ain't had a quarterback that I'm willing to buy their jersey for. Alvin Kamara, that's who I couldn't think of. I mean, I should get an Alvin Kamara jersey probably. That's all we got at this point. But I'm hoping that we maybe draft a quarterback, because obviously, Saints fan, I've had enough of the car, Derek Carr. That car is broken, it is busted, and it needs to get the hell out of New Orleans. I can tell you that. Saints fans are not happy about it either. I mean, he just, with the whole offseason, then starts playing this little shoulder injury thing, makes the most boring cars video thing, showing off all his cars. It sucked. He's just a boring dude. I was hoping he was going to work out. He was a fantastic college quarterback. You see moments that he has the potential. He throws an amazing deep ball. He throws one of the prettiest spirals that I've ever seen. I said that on this show. I stand by that. But dang it, dude. He just makes some poor decisions when it matters, and that has been his MO. That's been his whole career. Saints need to move on. Who do they get? There's two big quarterbacks that are out there right now that should go in the top 10 of this. Shedeur Sanders should go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm thinking they're probably going to make a trade, or that is the consensus. I'm not thinking that. That seems to be the consensus, that they're going to trade up to get him, which I think will probably happen. The Saints, picking the 9th spot. It's very expected for them to get Jackson Dart, but the Saints have botched stuff over the years. I've seen some things that even threw in Jalen Milroe, Alabama's quarterback, which, speaking of colleges that teams like to lean on, the Saints have had great fortune leaning on Alabama players over the years, so I don't have a problem with an Alabama player whatsoever. I'm not sold on Jalen Milroe, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really sold on all three of those. I never saw Sanders play with my own eyes. Saw Milroe play. He was impressive, at least this year against LSU. When he can get going, he can get going. He was impressive. Jackson Dart didn't have the best game against LSU, but not terrible. LSU kind of kept him in check that night and won early in the season. But watching him in other games, he looked really good. So I'm pulling for Jackson Dart for the Saints to get him. He had a really good year. He's had some good years. Over 11,000 passing yards at Ole Miss with his time at USC and Ole Miss. He had 4,200 last year, almost 4,300 yards, 29 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. That's fantastic. And playing in that offensive scheme that he did, a lot of fun to watch. And it's time. I think it's time to basically clean house in New Orleans and come in and rally and build behind a quarterback. That's the state of the program at this point. There any other interesting things out there that anybody is looking for or you want to get on your team? Big E says the Browns are on the clock. Over the line, Chiefs fan. All right, dude. All right. How do you become a Chiefs fan in Alabama? At least you're not a Falcons fan, so I can live with that. I can live with that. Look, hey, Brian says don't be shocked if Shedeur ends up with the Saints. I'd be cool with that. I would be cool with that. Not 100% sold on him. Reason being, I think it's a media circus that comes with him and what's coming behind him with his dad and all that. I don't know if that at some point becomes a big distraction more than anything else. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. We'll see. Paul Rogers follows the draft, but his focus is on the NHL playoffs right now. Yeah, I've been seeing some of that. I'm trying to get more and more into hockey, and I think I will as the playoffs continue to go. I see you posting about it all the time. That's how I kind of recap and know what the heck's going on, Paul, is I see your posts and stuff on Twitter and all of that. So, for sure. Terry Wayne, he is a Cowboys fan, and that's okay. We won't hold that against you. I'm not a Cowboys hater, Terry Wayne. That's who we all pulled for at Florine back in the late 80s and 90s. Whenever they started going on their run, the Saints sucked for the most part. So, he says hockey rocks. It does. I love going to it live, and I've never been to an NHL game, but I'd like to. Big E thinks he'd think the Saints would be better off with Rattler. Look, they went under. I think obviously you keep him and let him develop. I think Jackson Dart's going to come in and be a guy that can start to be there. Maybe they hear me out, Saints fans. Dual quarterbacks in the NFL. Why not? That would be two interesting dual threat quarterbacks right there that could come in and out. We're doing it with Taysom Hill. This would just be in a little bit of a different sense. Who knows? Mason Graham to the Browns, Big E says. Mason Graham to the Browns. So, yeah, draft is rocking and rolling. My throat is dry, and I've been talking all day. You better get ready for hockey, Tigs. We got us a new team, and there are 2 teams in Louisiana we play against. Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Totally in on hockey. Totally in. Used to go to the Baton Rouge Kingfish games, whatever they're called now. So terrible. I just can't think because I wasn't thinking about hockey. But I definitely want to go. Riley and I've gone. I want to go back and go see them. They're actually pretty good this year, too. So, a lot of fun. You know who they are, Biggie. I just can't remember the dang name right now. gentlemen and ladies, this guy is tired tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I will be. It'll be an early night for your boy, for sure. That's really all I've got. Big notables for me, LSU guys, of course, Will Campbell, Mason Taylor. I think he could make a good hand on some team out there. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Some of the fun things that I like whenever we talk about the draft. What are some of the funny names out there? Not a ton that I can even pronounce necessarily, but one is Tonka Hemingway. He's a defensive lineman, which evokes strength and literary flair. I love that name. You've got your Kool-Aid, McKendry, or whatever his name is, that type of stuff. Who will be a flop? Who'll be a flop this year? Who knows? Well, enough about the draft. I did want to get this little plug in, gang. If you're loving this show and you want to support us even more, check out our revamped Patreon. I've revamped it over there. We've got 3 tiers. There's a free tier. You have to sign up with your email, but you'll get general updates, some bonus content, stuff that doesn't make it out on the other social media platforms. We have a $2.99 tier that gives you early access to some of the short videos, short clips, food clips, interviews, behind-the-scenes stuff, polls, stuff like that. And then the $4.99 package, the full Tigs Wigs access tier, that unlocks all the exclusive podcast episodes before they drop, monthly behind-the-scenes or behind-the-bits audio drops where I'm going to talk a little bit about just some of the show and stuff like that. Stuff that isn't really made for Tigs Tonight or things like that. I'm going to start doing that once a month, maybe once or twice a quarter. Not a lot, but that'll be posted there, probably in nowhere else. You'll have access to the Tigs Vault. I'm going to start dropping some of those lost files, some of those lost episodes. Some of my stuff from back in the radio days, it's just kind of crazy to hear the names and the people and all that. So, look, go check it out. Join the free tier, whatever. I'm wanting to grow that. I really, really am. Your support means the world to me. You guys that are here with me live, y'all support me so much. I appreciate y'all so much. And we're just going to keep on rolling. We are going to keep on rolling. This kind of comes to a fun little part of the show. And I thought that this was the Zydeco. There you go. The Zydeco. What's up, Austin Dennis? What's up, Austin Dennis? He didn't budge when he got that ice challenge, that ice bucket. I was kind of a little bitch. I'm not going to lie. There, I said it. I was. It was cold. It surprised me how cold it was. I did the ALS deal back when we had a radio show. Speaking of Tigs Vault episodes, when I had the radio show on ESPN here in Baton Rouge, we did the ice bucket challenge with a full ice bucket, a little bit more than you had in that quarter bucket of ice and water, but still more than I did. You put a whole bag and you put water in it. Well done. But I had, for the ALS thing, myself, Matt English, and our other cohort, we took a 5-gallon bucket of the whole thing, and oh God, that was cold. That is somewhere out. That's a vault thing. I need to find that and post it. That's one of those things. The Raiders. Gianti. Well, there you go. The Bears didn't get it there. Who knows what's going to happen? And that's what a lot of the pundits were saying. This could be a wild draft. For sure. But look, we are to a little show and tell here, gang. So like I said, I was up in North Louisiana over the weekend, or last week, with Riley, and my mom and dad were up there, and they've just been going through the house and stuff like that, going through the attic, getting things out, and just all that. So my brother-in-law, my sister, they went and helped bring a lot of the boxes. There weren't a ton of boxes anymore, but a lot of the boxes that were still up in the attic. Some of it was some old vintage T-shirts. I'll spare y'all that. My daughter's going to be pretty happy about some of them. Some old concert, like actual Rolling Stones concert from '94, you know, stuff like that. Cool stuff. But the coolest thing I thought that we found, my mom and dad had all of these cameras. Now, I don't know if they work. I do believe you'll see some of these are in really mint condition, and I do believe that they will work. But let's just take a little peek, a little peeky at this. So look, hopefully y'all can see this well. Let me move my little notes here so I can see it too. All right, so this is just a Polaroid 250, whatever that means. And look, it's still complete with the book. Look at this. I don't have a clue how to use this thing, but look at this. So it's one of those, I've tried to open it. I don't want to break it. I know. Is it? Yeah, that's this one. You can see it has like these little, I think it'll pop out some. There's another one too. I do believe it'll do that, but this one definitely will. It's supposed to pop out kind of like an old-timey camera. It says here, which I'm nervous. I didn't see this. Here's a Polaroid cold clip. Look at this. What is this for? We're just going to kind of discover this together. How to use the Polaroid cold clip. So it says use for color pictures at 65 degrees Fahrenheit and below. When in doubt about the temperature, use it anyway. Okay. Preheat cold clip in warm inside pocket. Is this how you develop a picture? Yeah. Develop for 60 seconds with cold clip. So you could develop Polaroid cold clip pictures with this thing. That's wild. Man, we've come a long way. We've come a long way. This was printed in the USA on March of 1968. 1968. Color slides were hot. I don't remember these. I think that was just before I was born. I mean, I was born in 78. I was born a decade later. I've never seen this camera in action. An automatic 250 land camera. Never seen it in action. Yeah, here you go. Look at these pictures. Look at the beehive hair. So yeah, that thing comes out and it's just, I mean, that was the jam back then. That was just the jam. It's crazy. You got to check the temperature. I mean, I'm going to read this book. This is fascinating stuff. I wonder if it works. It's been in an attic for 50 years almost, I would say. A hot attic in Louisiana. I don't know if it still works, but it's still, I mean, it looks like it's in mint condition. Everything looks really nice. There's no scratches on the lenses or anything. You can darken, you can lighten. You can adjust the speed. Looked like a pretty sophisticated camera in 1968. Really and truly. Just don't know a whole lot about it. But cool. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yes. So obviously this lamp is going to plug into this camera. This is your Instagram logo, folks. This is your Instagram logo. The old Instamatic. The old Polaroid Instamatic X. So this is the Instamatic 10. That old Instamatic grin. For sure. So this is cool. You do the click. I remember this camera. It doesn't have any film in it, but it definitely still works. I remember this sucker. And it was my sister's. And it's just so cool to see this stuff. I think there's even some, look, yeah, there's still some of this polar color. I don't know what this is. Oh, look, I guess this is some way that you can develop film from those Instamatic things too. I mean, I know I sound like I'm an idiot because I don't know what I'm doing, but this is a little bit before my time. I vaguely remember some of this technology. But we moved on to, instant cameras and stuff like that you would just take to Eckerd's or to the little kiosks that were out in the street and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know how some of this works. I just thought y'all might think this was cool, so I thought I would want to show it to you. And I wanted to look. I wanted to look too while I was doing it. There's so much stuff in here. I don't know what everything is. Another projection lamp. Just cool. I think some of these are probably worth it. Yeah, you put the little square bulb on top for nighttime. That's right. That is right. I do remember. I mean, I remember seeing these things in action for sure, especially in gyms. Like back in Terry Wayne, if you're still in here with us, you remember back in those days that flash. I definitely remember that. You'd see it in the old newspapers. You'd see in the corner with the people with the flash for sure. I remember that. Let's look at this. This is the XL 340 movie outfit. This was Mom and Dad. So all of the there's Mom and Dad have, I don't know how many DVDs it is now, but back in the day, back in the 90s, they took all of the boxes of Super 8 and all that different type of film and got it converted to VHS. So we had all of our movies and stuff. It was set to the most god-awful music. Like you would just turn the volume all the way down. It's so freaking terrible. The music didn't age well at all, but a pretty good conversion. Yes, Terry says Ross had that for the yearbook and cat tracks. Yep, it's probably somewhere. That's probably how we got that at some point. Who knows? But, all that film and everything, they got it converted over. Then they later took it from VHS to put it on DVD. Mom and Dad have the whole dang box of all the original videos, reels, and they are in perfect condition. Like they're perfect mint condition. I'm thinking that, Terry, this may be a project for you and I to work on at some point in time. It may not be a bad idea to try to remaster those and convert them over to digital now from the masters, not like from a tape to a DVD, from the master to a tape to a DVD. The image quality is terrible. Now, later on, some of them had speech and all, but this thing did not. There is no audio on it. So all you could do is just film. But look at this thing. Look at this. This was a pimp camcorder back in the day. This is a Kodak. This isn't a Polaroid. This is a Kodak. But you can still look through the viewfinder. It's super clear. I mean, it looks clear as day. I remember trying to mess with this a little bit whenever I was a kid. Josh Curry and Colby and Stewart and all, we would mess with it, hoping to record, but we didn't have any film. And if the film that we would have, we didn't have any way to watch it. So there was a projector. There is a projector. I didn't bring the projector. I don't know where that went. Maybe I did bring it. I don't think I did, though. But they had a projector, and I do remember watching that. But this, what year was this thing? Let's see. Look at this. I mean, Mom and Dad still have the original box. This stuff, do you think, gang, do y'all think this is worth money? Should I sell it? I mean, Mom and Dad, it's vintage stuff. I'd love that. I'd love to keep some of it, but at the same time, it takes up a lot of space. If I could get some money for it, I mean, heck with it. Mom and Dad are like, hey, make you some money. I'm like, well, okay. But I may not want to. Let's see what years. A lot of times, these books, you could see what year everything was made in. This one doesn't say. It doesn't say. I mean, it's obviously in the 70s. This looks like early 70s, which would be around when my sister was born, maybe late 60s. I'm going to say 70s just based off of this look. But the price of this bad boy, $147.49, which let's say it's 1970. That's a lot of money. I mean, this was like a $400 camera equal to today. Maybe not 400, maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little more. I just broke the box. I just knocked it down $20, whatever. I doubt I ever sell these. Yeah, Paul says it might be. Take it to Pawn Stars, Rick. Yeah, I don't think Rick's going. This is going to have to be something a collector would want or something like that. Yeah, Terry says that would be fun. Would be cool to do. It would be. It would be. Start thinking. Start thinking, how can we put Super 8 reels onto something and suck it into the computer to make it digital, Terry? You're my expert, and you're my only hope on that, too, because I have no idea. I have no idea. Brian says Linda McCartney's dad invented a lot of those cameras. That's cool. I do remember hearing something about that. There's a lot of pictures of her, too, aren't there? So cool. So cool. This is the coolest, though, to me. This is the freaking coolest. Everybody knows it. They make them now. They're back. But look at this original bad boy Polaroid one step. Now, I know how this works, and I know how that works. And I remember my sister using this thing, too. I'd love to see if it still works. I mean, looking through it, it is as clear. I can read the chat from here through the viewfinder. It's just so freaking cool. It's just so cool. And of course, y'all will remember this. It comes with these squares, these flashes that would last like hardly not much. I mean, the OG Polaroid land camera. Really freaking cool. So I love it, man. I love seeing that kind of stuff. I just wanted to share it with y'all. I thought it would be, something neat. Maybe y'all had some experiences with some of that stuff and all that. But so much fun, man. It's just so much fun. HP makes a Polaroid scanner to convert to digital somewhat. Okay, hey, that's a good starting point. You can't go wrong with the good folks at HP. For sure. For sure. Well, that's a little bit of the show and tell. I did want to give a shout out. We did this last night briefly on the show that JR and I recorded, and I wish I had a clip for y'all. I was going to share a clip. I don't, but I'll be dropping some clips here in the next few days on socials. But I got to give a shout out to Jay from NOLA. Jay Rochelle, my friend, my former producer at ESPN Radio. Speaking of Vault stuff, he produced some of this stuff. We got to give a big old Bubba Army shout out. Just a big shout out and thank you to one of our own, and a Tigs Wigs as well, Mr. Robert J. Rochelle with the Baton Rouge Police Department. On April 16th, while he was sitting at a red light, he spotted flames under a medical transport van. He did not hesitate at all. He jumped into action along with the driver and the bystander and helped free 3 impaired drivers, help them get out of safety before the van just went up into flames. That's real deal hero stuff. Now, I know Jay wouldn't say that, but it is. It is. And he did say, he said it on our Tigs Wigs Facebook page that, anybody else would have done it and stuff like that. True, but we're proud of you, man. That's still real hero stuff. Thank you for your service, man. I'm so honored that you protect me in this town, and it's always good to know that there's people out there like you that will just help anybody if anything happens to them. Great, great job, Jay. Great, great job. Let's see, man. What is up? Oh, Cooking with Hoss. What is up? I don't want you to throw me in the long grass, Hoss, but my day is probably coming with one of these cooking videos, I'm sure. We're getting close, aren't we, Big E? We're getting close to the Saints. We'll see. We may be done before they make the draft, before they draft whoever it is going to be. I wanted to give a shout out too to Bryce, Bubba Army guy, and I didn't have his email available last night whenever we talked about it, but I kind of wanted to read this. It's one of the nicest emails that anybody's ever sent us, and it was an email about the Hut Strickland show. He said, "I've been listening to your Bubba Army shows since you first appeared on the channel. Love your show, understand the lineup change, and look forward to you guys keeping on. Have to thank you for the Hut Strickland show. I do wish I could have seen a video version of that, but I've been listening to podcasts since they were called podcasts, and that Hut interview was legendary and one of my favorite interviews of all time, which is, I can't believe anybody would say that, but okay, that's amazing. It would be my personal top 10 podcast interviews, which is just like, wow, man, that's amazing. He said, seriously, Hut was so relaxed and open, and you all did an awesome job. And he's been Bubba Army since before the serious days, and he's glad that we're a part of the Bubba Army. And no matter what changes happen with your show and lineup, please don't abandon the Bubba Army. We love you guys, and you are a welcome addition to the lineup. And, man, I mean, you never know when you're going to get some kind of email like that. That meant a lot, and I needed that email that day. I'm not going to lie. And very heartfelt. Appreciate that, Bryce. Really, really do. Of course, I responded and gave him the link to the Hut Strickland show so he could watch it because he hadn't seen the video version of it, too, if he wanted to go back and watch Hut with us. But, yeah, it meant so much to me. And I got another call last week, too. Apparently, some of the things that we're putting out on social media, Carter Bryant, like I mentioned at the top of the show, Carter the Power, who's been a guest on the show a couple of times and will be coming on again at some point soon, probably closer to football season, and get some of his football knowledge for sure. Definitely want to do that this year. He gave me a call. He called me, and which is kind of a shocking thing, I guess, to say now. It's like, well, what's Carter? Why is he calling me on like a random Wednesday or whenever it was? He was just concerned because he saw a social media post that sounded like we were quitting the show, like it was over. And he wanted to call and give me some words of encouragement. And, man, you've worked so hard. You're starting to break through, and things are starting to happen. You can't quit now. And I'm like, no, man, Carter, we're not quitting. We're not quitting at all. We're just having to realign, and we're having to go in a little bit different direction. And then we were, not totally, but a little bit, but we have clarity now. So we're not going to rehash all that. We've been talking about all that, but it was encouraging to get that phone call from him. And I told him, I'm going to be leaning more into the food content and cultural stuff over here on my side, and still doing what I do and talking about things, but going to lean a little bit more into that. JR's leaning into music, and in fact, he has a top 200 podcast right now. I think it's ranked 129 in music. First show was last week. Freaking awesome. You can also listen to that show, shameless plug. You can also listen to that show right now on our Spotify, Tigs Bits, but go to listen to it on JR's channels. Go support him. We're not in any kind of competing thing or anything. I think it's just going to blend everything that we're doing together. It's going to be awesome, but we got to build it. We're building it. He's got shows in the can already, and I'm getting there myself, which is a position that this show and his that we've never been in. We've always been chasing. We got a show to get out. Now we can start to have some of those conversations slow down a little bit, give y'all more quality. Anyhow, fantastic. I really, really appreciated Carter giving me a call. However, he did leave me a little bit of like, I think you look like a food guy. You look like a food guy. That's kind of how he'll talk sometimes. You look like a food guy, Tigs. And I was like, well, what does that mean? What does that even mean? I agreed with him, though, that I do look like a food guy. I likes to eat. I can't help it. Let's see. Yeah, cooking with Hoss. He's going to definitely throw some of my North Louisiana stuff in the long grass. Ain't no doubt about it, but I will not take any offense, my brother. I will not be a badge of honor, honestly, so I'm down with it. Am I coming to Broussard tomorrow? I wish I was. Man, and he is talking about the first ever Super Boil World Championship Crawfish Cook-Off in Broussard, and they have a social media event thing that's going to be going on tomorrow night as well. So if anybody's in the area, y'all get out there. It's in Broussard, Arsenault Park in Broussard, Louisiana. Man, it is going to be a blast. All of my podnas like Hoss and Traveling with Taryn and Travel to Boot and Farm to Fire, Rusty Seasoning. I know Gabby with What You Cooking, all of that. What You Cooking Cajun Seasoning. All of those good folks are going to be out there cooking with KP. So many people. It's going to be an amazing event. Stale Crackers kind of helping with this too. So I think it's kind of like, in a way, it's part 2 of that Stale Cracker deal. But it's for the first time ever. The South is coming together for a freaking epic weekend of food, fun, and competition. And like I said, it's going to be the first that they've ever had. It's going to be a part of something. People can be a part of something historic. They want to have kind of like a football atmosphere. They're going to have music. They're going to have all that stuff. It's going to be a blast. It really, really is. And I'll tell you, if you're in Lafayette this weekend, I mean, it's just going on. The Festival International de Louisiana, or however you say it, it's a French heritage festival, and there's all kinds of music, all kinds of food, and I mean, it is a big deal. I've got friends that go to that a lot, and have told me about. I've never been. And to answer your question, Hoss, unfortunately, no, I'm not going to be able to be there Friday night or Saturday. And the reason that I'm not going to be able to be there on Saturday is because I'm going to the LSU and Tennessee baseball game. The Cajun Tiger Tailgate, we usually do one a year, a big game, and this is going to be the weekend. Couple of powerhouses battling it out. So the Friday night, they're going to be there. Tomorrow night, we're going to be out there doing barbecue and stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to be out there tomorrow night or not, but I definitely plan on being out there Saturday, where we're going to have a crawfish boil. So Old Tales from the Tailgate, baseball style, may make an appearance. I'm planning on it. I'm planning on trying to get a little bit of content out from that, but I'm going to miss freaking being in Broussard. I really want to go, but there's just, it's what I told Amanda with Travel to Boot. I said, man, it's Louisiana. There's just so much going on. You've got 2 major things happening in Lafayette. LSU and Tennessee here. Jazz Fest started today. I missed my boy's Goose. Disappointed in that, but your boy's just been too busy. I couldn't go see Goose today. Tomorrow, they've got Casey Musgraves and Cheap Trick and Gladys Knight. Saturday's Lil Wayne and the Roots and Harry Connick Jr., Babyface, Irma Thomas, Big Frida. It's going to be a fun one on Saturday. And then Sunday, the Dave Matthews Band, a little more jam bandy, the Revivalist, Tab Bedwa. We've talked about him on the show. You got to have Tab if you're going to be here. So, yeah, just a lot of events going on, a lot of fun, a lot of stuff happening. And Big E says that the Saints picked Kelvin best. God almighty. There you go. Well, I'll go burn this jersey. I'm not burning this jersey, but if I had another one, I mean, come on. Lordy. Anyhow, all right. This was a fun one. Thanks for letting me just have a little show and tell, talk about everything. Let's wrap it up. That's going to be a wrap for us tonight. But again, a huge thanks for hanging out with me live. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow the channel so you never miss an episode. And if you want even more behind-the-scenes content and early access to exclusive episodes, head over to our Patreon and join the fam. Appreciate all of y'all being in here. We're going to have a blast next week, too, when we do this again. Y'all have a great weekend, everybody.
What is his name?
I'm the bad guy? How'd that happen? I did everything they told me to.